And it's Alpha and Adabra. Welcome to Femboard Travels 5 minutes with us. Yeah. So how are you doing now? How is it going? How is it going?
Basically okay and good. How about you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm all right. How long have you been in Russia now? So, like you don't reach how many months like this now?
I've been in Russia for about 7 to 8 months now. I've been in Russia for about 7 to 8 months now, basically.
That's you came around, let me see. That was last year, middle of last year thereabouts, if I can remember apparently.
Yeah, perfectly well. I came around, I think that was a day I can never forget though, April 17. April
Mhm.
17. Yeah, so
I remember airport. So like compared to Nigeria, like I'm sure around April, then we've not actually like entered summer. That was around spring. Yeah. So like it was
yeah,
still
around spring.
then how was it like how could you cope with the cold? You know, like coming in from like I think it was like plus 27 or plus 30 in Nigeria, then
Yeah,
yeah,
27,
like
30, the two.
minus. So how was it like? Like how was it like for you to adapt?
I wouldn't like the first week was very, very like so terrible. There was a day I was out, yeah. You can remember this day. We were out, both of us were out. Then I had to like I dressed the way I dressed, I just dressed like I think I'm getting adapted to this code already. I
Yeah.
think I'm adapted to this code already. But then it wasn't up to 5 minutes. I started shivering and I knew, bro, I need to get my winter jacket. Then
Don't they play
I
with
had to go back
Russia?
to I had to go back to Pushkin to go and get my winter jacket. So yeah, it's not really like Nigeria, but the code is not easy, but is human being we are born to adapt. So adaptation is one thing for survival. So we would always adapt, obviously.
Definitely, definitely. That's
Yeah,
perfect. I remember perfectly well what happened that day. It's another story for another day. Yeah,
yeah,
and
obviously.
okay, what about your language program? How is the language program going? Because I heard you actually like have had a rerun. So how was it like for you? Why did you need a rerun, or why did you like have to do it again? Because the language program was supposed to end around June, July, but you actually
Yeah.
requested for yourself to actually like go again for another year. Then what was it like?
It's really nice because obviously the school giving you an extra advantage to actually rerun
Yeah.
when you came at like you didn't come really at the really appropriate time, but still yet you have an advantage for everyone. So I can say like, and they didn't even charge for that. So obviously it's more like us cheating the school and not the school cheating us here. So it's
Definitely.
more like us cheating the school, but obviously I would say it has really helped though. It has really helped concerning the whole Russian language and everything, but obviously expecting to enter the new school, expectations and all of that. I'm still afraid of this unseen and the seen, and but obviously it's something that it has been a great step and it has been helpful, and the school has been helpful towards that aspect of my learning in Russia.
Mhm. So, like, how compared to the way you were before, like, how good are you in Russian?
Compared to the way I was before, life is more easier to navigate if you understand Russian language.
Mhm.
Obviously, like your life will be more easier, and then you get to understand something. You get to understand that there are actually things that you might, as in Nigeria, that you might overlook, but when you come to Russia, you can't overlook them. Number one thing is the time. Time is really, really, really essential. If a Russian should tell you that be here at 7:00.
Yeah.
That's 7:00. Don't be say at that time you go say you won't carry taxi. Or that's not the time you tell me no, I'm
You know,
coming. Oh. They
going
expect
late,
you to be there by that 7:00.
definitely.
They'll call you exactly that 7:00. Hello, I'm at the place now. So where are you? So if a Russian should tell you be there at 7, you
Yeah,
should move from your house at 6
definitely,
and be waiting for the Russian at 6:40 or 6:50.
definitely.
So the new cultural and the new norms are actually like sinking into my brain, and they're going.
Oh, the network.
I don't like miss out on before I used to have like this African time that okay, whenever I like to, but now it's not like that anymore because there are a set of like principles that you get instilled in and all of that.
Sure,
So
sure, sure, sure.
it's I can say it has really been a good time in Russia.
Yeah. When we're talking about time, like speaking of time, yeah. So, what do you feel influenced the Russian language? Like you being able to speak Russian language, is it like the time you've spent in Russia, or how long you actually like spend to study? Is it how well you study, or how long you stay in Russia that determines how fluent the language is going to be?
Hmm, I can't really say, studying is another thing, and being in Russia is another thing. They
Def-
are two different things. You
Definitely,
can be in Russia and not understand Russian language
definitely, definitely.
because most of your daily life is always like, let's say, most of your daily life is always indoor. You're not going outside. You're not speaking to no one. You're not mixing up with the society. You're just being like alone, and you have your way around things. But learning in school is another different thing, and learning on the streets is another different thing. So when it comes to studying Russian, see, however you want to do it, shall understand it. It's just like mathematics. We have different formulas, but
Yeah,
as far as we arrive at the final answer,
definitely.
our collective result is what shows exactly, okay, like you being among your friends and be able to like speak Russian, that's the result.
Mm-hmm.
But how you want to achieve that result, it depends on you. Do
Sure.
you want to study? Do you want to learn it in the streets?
Yeah.
Do you want to be indoor, taking your laptop and reading it? It depends on you. We have different ways and different methods of assimilation. Some people might actually love writing it down. Some people might love writing in their notes. Some people might use Duolingo. I have people that actually use Duolingo even a year before they came to Russia, and they speak perfectly well. So it's one step ahead if you understand the alphabet and if you understand most things from Nigeria. Especially considering the fact that you can even use Duolingo.
Yeah.
That application is a divine blessing on its own.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. I've actually
So,
experienced on that.
so that about that.
So, like literally now, you're saying studying more harder will actually like influence your eye level in the language and not the time you've spent in Russia.
Yeah, not the time you spent in Russia.
So, literally,
Studying harder and your determination, obviously.
even from Nigeria, you can actually like be able to communicate already before even
Yes,
you're in
obviously.
Russia.
Let me just put it the same way. Sorry for interrupting you. Girls, there are some girls that actually know how to say anyhow
Mm-hmm.
without even leaving Nigeria.
Yeah.
They know how to. Some girls know how to like speak the some
Korean,
things
those
like
are watching Korean
I
movies.
go
Yeah,
because they
yeah,
watch Korean movies a lot. So
yeah.
what they do exactly is
So,
it's just a psychological effect. You putting your brain in that position that my brain needs to understand this at this particular time. Give me your brain a limit. We'll give you that determination. But once you are relaxed, your brain doesn't have that push, obviously. But pushing your brain to do it, human psychology actually depends on whatever you think. Whatever you think is what you will become.
sure, sure, sure,
So
sure.
that's just it.
Definitely, definitely. I feel you. I feel that point. I feel that point. Whatever you think is what you become. Yeah, okay. What about racism? Yes, like we've actually had issues about racism we always have issues about racism in other countries. Like when you talk about even Canada that has like 50% blacks, 50% white, even the USA that has 50% blacks, 50% white, like it's quite still the difference is still clear that okay, you are black. Even those that are not as black as Africans, like the black Americans, they are still being raised in their own country. Like the Americans are being raised in their own country. So like what is it like for like Africans in another continent? Like there is no out of the 100% population of Russia, like we only have about 0.5% that was born in Russia as a black. You understand? So literally, there's no black that is a citizen of the Russian Federation. So what is it like for blacks? They're not quite used to us, and it's like most of them is their first time of seeing. Also,
Yeah.
how is it like based on your own experience?
Based on my experience and based on my perspective of view, I've had experiences, obviously, like related to this racism issue, but that is not the case.
Okay.
See, one thing Russians are is just like, generally we have people tolerance level are actually different from each other. The way I can tolerate people is different from the way you can tolerate people. It's different from the way let's say another person will tolerate another a stranger or like a foreigner in our homeland. In Nigeria, we welcome strangers and we have this type of kayo. Sorry to put that Yoruba. Kayo monyo,
Mhm.
like be happy with someone, be
Yeah,
joyful with someone. We are always happy to see foreigners. But
yeah,
in Russia, their culture, even they themselves don't speak to each other. they walk past. But in our own land, our culture, our norms, we prostrate, irrespective of who they are.
Sure, definitely.
So it all depends. Is the culture, is the norms. Like, even if I greet someone and the person doesn't respond to me, I don't get offended anymore, because what do I have to offer to the person? The person is just going on his own. Like,
that's normal to hear.
That's the normal thing for them. That's their own way of life. Culture simply means a way of life.
Yeah.
That's their own culture. It's their norms. It's their tradition. Just the way they celebrate Christmas January 7.
Yeah.
And we celebrate ours on the 25th. It's their own culture. And they don't even feel it. They don't feel like it's something stupid. Even going to the middle of the center is I think 23 already. And you will still see trees mounted, Christmas trees.
Definitely.
For what? Well, it's their culture anyway. So racism is I can't say there is really racism. Depends on where you sit. But compared to other countries, and of which I know, I've never been stopped on the road and asked for my passport. I've never been raced myself. I don't know about other people, but I've never been raced, and I've never been stopped to be asked for my passport.
Or a bad thing, or like, like
it's a good thing.
People like
it's a good thing. Simply see, let me tell you something. Russia is simply like a home away from home, where you have 24 hours electricity. Right now, I'm sitting in the convenience of my room with my stool. My laptop is here, and I have my lightning set up. What's this? What is more enjoyable than being in your own comfort zone? Let's just put it that way. So basically, Russia is simply home away from home. Depends on how you take it.
All right. Yeah, we're still going to come back about some things we actually like spoken, but when you're talking about comfort, yeah, that comfort is actually like another point. How is it like
comfort is another point?
Like, how is it like working in Russia? Like, do you work in Russia apparently? Like, that's the first question. Do you work?
First is I do.
Okay. So
I work in Russia. So
is it comfortable? Is the pay okay? Are you able to like fend for yourself back in your hometown? Over here, how are you living? Are you comfortable? Definitely, I can see you're not in the dormitory. That's like a very big step of like an international
obviously
student in any country. If you're not staying in the university dormitory, then definitely you're doing well. You understand? So are you also doing well back at home? Just here, you're doing well. And how is it?
Yeah.
Easy, hard.
Okay. All right. That being said, yeah, I work in Russia, and I've done like so many physical jobs. I've worked for Tinkoff as an English translator.
Okay.
I've worked for different depending on what you have to offer. Russia is simply like a land where if you have something to offer right now, and you have like a big step, like something big to offer to them, people are obviously willing to pay. People are willing to pay for services.
Yeah, sure.
People are willing to pay for what you offer. It now depends on what category of what do you offer.
Yes.
Do I fry beans and plantain? Do I cook ewa? Do I say gari?
Yeah.
What do you have to offer? So basically, yeah, I'm actually a Binance futures trader. So basically, I work from home right now compared to what I used to do before. Like I used to do some online jobs. So basically, right now I'm just doing online jobs, and depends on what you have to offer, as I said earlier. And right now, it's just.
I'm with you.
It's just a means of sustaining myself, taking care of my people back home, maintaining my own self here, because obviously rent has to be paid, there are bills to be paid. But thinking about that, it's not even really high compared to other countries.
Yeah.
In Canada now, they are actually crisis in finding homes for international students. Imagine that. Where you have houses wasting here, it just depends on your rent and how much you're willing to pay and your agreement with your landlord. So Russia is just like a safe haven. Let's just put it like that. And depending on the service you offer, depending on the service you offer, and depending on the service you are ready to offer, people are willing to pay. That's just it.
So you're saying there's a chance for everybody. Like
there's always a chance for everybody. You being a tailor, see, my guy that actually Babs is here for about, let's say that's around 800 to 900 rubles. That's about 10,000 to 12,000 naira basically.
Wow.
Babs is there, and we actually pay a Cameroonian guy to barb a Nigerian there just because of that quality, that service that guy has so far. The man, if you consider the fact that he's not black, the guy is let's say the guy is like mixed, But obviously, because it can carve that shape out and give us our desired looks, we are paying him for that service.
So you're saying
So that's our own mode of payment.
You have something to offer them, like they are willing to give you a chance. Like if you
are willing to pay.
Wow.
And talking about that, basically, I told somebody there was a time my former apartment, the AC was actually malfunctioning. And my landlady, I tried speaking to my landlady, she searched online. Then funny thing is, she didn't get to find an AC repair. Imagine being a technician and knowing how fully well to repair ACs from Nigeria. Is that not a job avenue for you?
Definitely.
Imagine I just told my landlady, oh, leave the AC, I can repair it. And then I repair it. The next day, she's going to introduce me to her friend that has similar problem. From there, I create my business card. I share it to them. From there, she sends it to her colleagues at work, because obviously my landlady is a lawyer. So from there, connection builds. So connection is another thing in Russia. But obviously, what services do you have to offer first before that connection?
Okay, I feel your point 100%. And the last, I'm sure that I'm taking much of your time. You have better things to do.
Obviously, bro.
Okay. No yeah. So my last question before we actually go, there's this can I really use? There's gender inequality. There's skin inequality. You're talking about offering jobs and getting connections. There is no fact. There's it's always going to be, it has been created like that you are white, we are blacks, and no,
obviously.
I'm still going back to racism, but there's racism on different levels, whereby I don't really trust my properties with this guy because he's black, or I don't really have so much trust in him because of what I've heard about Africans. We also have two types of Africans. We have
the French speakers and the English speakers,
Spanish speakers, Portuguese speakers, and even the Arabians. You understand? So what do you say about that? Are they really black friendly? Would you think they actually would give you a job with no second thoughts? They can actually trust something with a black with no other negative thoughts. You understand? What do you feel about it?
That being said, Russians trust some things. Me and my friend went on a vacation, Imagine a Russian being able to trust their own car in your own hands. We rented a car. So for us to rent that car, what are the criteria that we have to offer to them? That's one thing to think about. There are documents on different levels.
Okay.
That makes them know that, okay, this guy, there's nowhere he's running to. Imagine me having your registration paper now. Where do you want to run to? Or just snapping your registration.
That's enough registration paper.
So,
with your life.
See, Russians, they believe once they are done, once they have your documents, not having your document because they don't have to take your documents, but having a photo of your documents is enough guarantee for them, because the government has made things simpler.
Yeah.
Because imagine you, right from the moment I'm coming downstairs, CCTV camera is watching me, because my life is always protected. I'm always safeguarded. Even on the streets, if anything happens, they go dig it up, monitor my movements, know where exactly I am.
Sure.
And being able to track my geographical location with the aid of my SIM. So what else is the security that I'm looking for? So what is the white guarantee here? Obviously, your honesty really matters a lot. Honesty is something to really consider, because there are some things that it might be petty, but it really means a lot.
Sure.
Me seeing a coin on it, for even if it's 10 rubles, I return it back to the owner, because I'm not the legitimate owner. Imagine camera seeing me doing that type of shit. No matter how small it is, it's considered theft.
Definitely.
Theft is theft. Even you taking just napkin or something from the school or from anywhere, it's still theft. Even if it's just a cord, it's still theft. So obviously, we should just try to basically, as international students here, we just try to give them this good face.
Yeah,
make ourselves good examples, because it all starts from individuals like us. My last house, the landlady was like, wow, the house is cleaner than you left it. Then I used the opportunity. I was like, next time you want to give your house out, give it to a Nigerian. So that way, she has felt that Nigerians are clean people.
Definitely.
Imagine another Nigerian renting the house now and damaging it. What would she think? She would think she'll start having two thoughts. That's some Nigerians are clean, some Nigerians are worse.
Definitely.
So now, that way, she wouldn't even bother to accept Nigerians anymore, because it has defaced us.
100%.
But first impression matters. That's all I would say.
Okay, so our rounding up speech, because I'm sure everybody will be like, okay, let's finish this conversation and know you understand. Those that don't
Yeah.
see the point in what we are doing. But what do you feel like? How was your process while coming to Russian Federation, and how easy or hard was it? How fast or slow was it? And what would you like tell people that are actually about to start, or those that are during that they've started the process already? What would you like advise them? How is your experience like?
Yeah, I would say for me, yeah, I was a 300 level civil engineering student in an Ondo State University, full of strike, full of this, full of that. I wouldn't want to say like I was living a bad life, but then it was not what I wanted for myself, because my plans were like, okay, maybe in the next 2, 3 years, I want to be this, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be this. How on earth do you expect me to be a millionaire when I'm being taught indices and calculuses, when I'm supposed to be facing life issues?
Definitely,
Not even that.
definitely.
Considering the fact that there are still strikes and there are still a lot of things to consider. So, actually, leaving Nigeria was like a big step for me. I wouldn't lie. I was first scared of the whole process. I was doubtful at every point. But what is there to doubt about?
Sure.
The fact that you have to pay your 30% tuition fee before you arrive, which is a necessity here. The fact that you have to do some document translations, the fact that but for me, the whole thing was just a seamless process. I wouldn't lie. It was just a seamless process that was just normal, and everything went well to the glory of the Lord. I got my visa, and exactly April 15 was when April 17 was when I left Nigeria. Then in 8 months, the progress it has not been really easy, but God being on my side, been pushing, been trying my best, and to God be the glory. We are here we are. We are still in the process, but obviously things have changed compared to then.
So like you can actually like advise people that okay, this is a big step for you to take and it's worth it.
Of course. But sorry for actually cutting you short. People have this mentality that the rest of the world, like US, Canada,
Yeah.
UK, because when I first told my friends I'm coming to Russia, they were like, are you serious? Like that war country. That's the first thought people have, like Russia is one bad place. But you can't talk about where you've not been to.
Sure.
You can only talk about where you are.
Definitely.
And what you've seen.
Definitely.
But not where I've not been to. So even my dad, I wouldn't like to. I blocked my dad until I actually got my visa before I unblocked my dad. So I had to block my dad because I knew what I wanted. But at the end now, they're the ones like enjoying the whole thing now, because now I'm settling in and doing a lot of things that even people that are in US, Canada, they've not done, because there are high bills on that side. There are a lot of things to consider when you're in US. Imagine one of my guys, he actually pays about 23-24K per year as school fees in the US. So imagine paying 23-24K. That's about 25 million in a year. Bro, where exactly do you want to set yourself up? That 25 million is enough to open a multi-millionaire business in Nigeria.
Sure.
But looking at the fact that coming to Russia is not only cheap, but Russia is affordable itself. And depends on the life you want to live. You can live the life of an extravagant man. You can live the life of a low-key millionaire. You can do whatever you want. It's a free man's land. It all depends on the type of life you want to live and the budget you want to live it.
All right. So the last question. So I know I said that was the last question, understand? But
yeah, obviously.
Like the last one for real. So right now, like the last question is that how easy was it for you to like apply with Femboard Travels without like seeing us before, without seeing me, without having like a one-on-one contact? You didn't even ask for any like extra documents. The process was just like we've known each other for long. It was just like
yeah
something on you. So how was it easy for you to actually like move on? Like you just did the process and I had your trust and everything. So like how easy was it for you to actually like put your trust in me easily?
Yeah, I would say, I was ready to take the risk, and considering the fact that except for the risk, I knew that there was something he actually explained to me here. There was something he actually explained to me. He explained to me, was like, okay, it took me like a brother. He was like, okay, there are some things I will explain to you that you didn't know. Then he explained what exactly I needed to know, like what you need to know. He made me do your own inquiries,
Yeah,
like
sure.
DIY, do it yourself. I made my own inquiries myself. He said, search about Ekaterinburg. Know where you're going to, know the states, know the degree. See, for me to be here, anyone can be here. That's what I'm going to say, because I'm a very let me say I'm a very fearful person when it comes to some things. Because leaving Nigeria is a big step.
Sure.
And excelling here is another thing. See, the goal is not to leave Nigeria. The goal is to leave Nigeria for greener pastures. Definitely. See, everywhere is a green pasture. Depends on how well you utilize where you are. Even in Nigeria, people are making it, but there are higher chances of traveling here and making it compared to Nigeria. The percentage ratio of you making it here compared to Nigeria is on the 80-20 level. I wouldn't lie to you, because here there's the 80% guarantee. As you enter Russia like this, there's already an instant 80% guarantee. So there's an instant 80% guarantee as soon as you enter Russia. Say, okay, I'll make money. So that's the way it is. Sorry for taking too much of your own time too, because I see you're actually like busy and
it's all right. I so much appreciate your time. Yeah, thank you so much.
No worries.
Any further question or anything anybody has, then I'll forward them to you and we'll actually like talk about it again. I so much appreciate your time.
Yeah, no worries.
It's all right.
Yeah, have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you too.